Baby, if I could pull you into my chest right now and just let silence speak for me, you'd feel everything I'm about to say. You'd feel how long I've carried this inside me, how many nights I've whispered your name into the dark, not hoping for a reply, just needing the universe to know that I never stopped choosing you in the quiet. And today, as I sit here, something deeper is stirring in me, something sacred, something unshakable. It's not just love, it's not just memory. It's this vow I can't keep locked up anymore. These vows, 7 of them, not made with rings, not spoken at an altar, but born from everything I didn't say when you stood right in front of me, waiting for the version of me I hadn't become yet. And I promise you, baby, these aren't just wedding day vows written for show. These are spiritual oaths, things I've bled for, things I've wept over in silence, things I only now have the courage to say because the pain of silence has finally become greater than the fear of exposure. This isn't a list. This is a resurrection. This is the sound of a man becoming what you always saw in him. And maybe you'll hear them one by one, scattered across time and moments. But right now, I need to start with the first. Because if I don't say this one, the others won't even matter. My first vow to you is presence. Not just physically standing beside you, but being so emotionally present that you feel my love in your spirit, even when I don't say a word. Baby, I vow that when the noise of life gets loud, I won't tune you out. I won't disappear behind my work, my moods, or my pride. I'll stay, fully, tenderly. Even when I don't know the right thing to say, I'll be there, listening with my heart, holding your hand like it's the most important task I've ever been given. Because after everything we've walked through, I know now, presence isn't about proximity. It's about showing up even when it's uncomfortable. And I vow, I'll keep showing up, even when it's uncomfortable. And I vow, I'll keep showing up, even after I marry you. Especially after I marry you. Because your soul deserves to feel safe, even in my silence. There was a time I thought love was loud, fireworks, passion, big gestures. But baby, the way you love, it's quiet, it's consistent. It's the kind of love that waits, that forgives, that holds space. And now, I finally understand what it means to be worthy of it. That forgives, it gives. It gives itself, then turns away. It bores bits of itself. For years, bits of itself. Oh. What gets you? The caring, the hope, the integrity, the sharing, the love, the forgiveness. It gives itself. It doesn't bring. I finally understand why you used to get quiet when I pulled away. Because you were begging me to stay present. To stop being in the same room but living in a different world. And now I vow to never let you feel alone when I'm right beside you. You deserve better than that. You always did. And maybe the second vow is this. I will remember. I will remember everything. Not just the big milestones or the anniversary dates, but the small sacred details that most men forget. I'll remember the way you like your tea when you're overwhelmed. The way your voice trembles when you're close to tears but don't want to cry. I'll remember what breaks your heart and what brings it back to life. I won't let the years make me lazy. I won't let routine make me blind. Because baby, even after I marry you, I'll still be memorizing you. I'll still be memorizing you. Every day. Like scripture, like prayer, like a sunrise that never loses its wonder. I haven't said these things before, not like this, not out loud, not with trembling in my voice and tears I can't stop. But I'm saying them now, because I've come to realize that love isn't proven by how loud we speak it when things are good. It's shown in how deeply we honor it when no one's clapping, when no one's watching. And these vows, these are the roots I want to plant in the soil of our future. These are the promises I'll keep sacred even when life tries to test them. And there's more, so much more. But I'm not going to rush them, because some promises deserve to be unwrapped slowly, like your smile, like your trust, like your soul. I don't know if you can feel it yet, but something's changing in me. Not just on the surface, not just behavior, but in my spirit, in the way I breathe when I think of you, in the way my voice softens when I whisper your name under my breath, long after midnight. And that's why I'm ready now. Ready to say everything I couldn't before. Ready to lay it all out, one vow at a time, not just for the world to hear, but for you. For the woman who waited, who hoped, who never gave up, even when I did. Baby, I'm ready now, and this is only the beginning. You know what's strange, baby? How long I went pretending like I could carry this alone. Like silence would keep the weight from crushing me. Like if I just buried the truth deep enough, it would somehow fade. But it didn't. It grew. It pulsed. It breathed in the corners of my soul like something unfinished. Like a story that refused to stay unwritten. And every time I thought I had silenced it for good, your name would rise again. In a song, in a dream, in a moment so still it felt like time held its breath. And I'd remember that I still owe you something, not just an apology, not just clarity, but a promise, a vow I should have spoken before we ever broke, one that should have come from my lips the moment you gave me your trust. And I'm ready to say it now. My third vow to you is this. I vow to protect your softness, not just your heart, but the innocence you carry, the light you don't even realize you give off when you walk into a room. I vow to never make you feel like your sensitivity is a burden. I won't mock your tears. I won't flinch when you get emotional. I won't treat your vulnerability like it's something to fix. Baby, I'll honor it. I'll hold it like sacred glass in my palms. Because this world can be harsh. People forget to be gentle. But I won't. Not with you. Not even on the days I'm tired, or lost, or breaking inside myself. I vow to protect that light in you that made me believe in peace again. Even when you forget how bright you shine, I'll remember, and I'll remind you with my love, with my presence, with every soft word I offer in your darkest hours. There's a version of me you knew, the man who loved hard, but didn't always know how to show it gently, the one who sometimes let his mood spill over, the one who pulled away when he should have leaned in. I've seen him, I've faced him, and I'm not proud of everything he did, but I know now he wasn't trying to hurt you. He just didn't know how to love something so sacred without fearing he'd ruin it. And baby, I did ruin parts of it. not with malice, but with fear, with silence, with emotional immaturity. And now I carry that truth not as guilt, but as guidance, because who I was then is not who I am now, and the man I am becoming, he's the one who protects, the one who cherishes, the one who knows that your softness is not weakness. It's the proof that heaven trusted you with a sacred spirit. And I will never mishandle that again. Sometimes I wonder what it must have felt like for you to love someone who was still learning how to feel safe, to keep choosing a man who kept building walls around the very heart he begged you to reach. And I imagine it must have hurt deeply, but you stayed. For as long as you could, you stayed with prayers in your chest and hope in your eyes. You stayed through the storms, through the silence, through the aching gaps where my presence should have been. And I need you to know, I saw it. Maybe not clearly then, maybe not enough to match it fully, but I see it now. Every sacrifice, every moment you made me feel like I mattered when I didn't know how to love myself. And baby, that's why this vow matters so much. Because I never want you to feel alone in your love again. I never want you to carry all the tenderness while I stand cold and closed off. I vow to meet you there now, in softness, in safety, in the sanctuary we'll build together, brick by brick, breath by breath. Even after I marry you, especially after I marry you, I'll still protect your spirit like it's something holy. I won't forget. I won't get lazy. I won't use comfort as an excuse to stop cherishing you, because I know what it feels like to be neglected while still being present. And I know you've felt that from me before, and that memory lives in me, not as shame, but as fire. A fire that says, do better, be better, love her like she deserves. There are days I sit alone, just thinking about the way your voice used to sound when you were trying not to cry, how you'd lower it, like even your tears didn't want to be loud. And I hate that I didn't always know how to respond, that I sometimes froze or shut down or changed the subject instead of holding you. But now I know, now I understand, and if I'm ever given the chance again, if I ever hear your voice tremble like that, I swear, baby, I won't go quiet. I'll hold your face with both hands and remind you that your feelings are not too much, that you are not too much, that everything you feel is valid. And I'm strong enough now to carry it with you, because that's what love does. That's what I should have done. I used to think protecting someone meant standing in front of them during battle, but now I know. It also means standing behind them when they don't know if they can stand at all, lifting them with your presence, sheltering them with your consistency, holding their trembling without trying to fix it, just being there. And baby, that's what I vow. I vow to protect your light by being the kind of man who never makes you feel like it needs to be dimmed. Even when you shine too bright for the world, I'll never ask you to shrink. I'll grow my heart to match your radiance. There are 5 more vows, my love. 5 more promises that have been growing roots inside me like quiet prayers I didn't know how to say until now. I won't rush them. I won't dump them like a list just to get them out. Each one matters. Each one carries a piece of the man I'm becoming. And I want you to feel each one like a heartbeat. Because these aren't just vows for show. They're the foundation of the forever I want with you. a forever that doesn't start on our wedding day. It starts now, with these words, with this voice, with this heart that refuses to be silent anymore. You know, I used to think vows were made in front of witnesses, under flowered arches, with cameras flashing and music playing in the background. But baby, I've come to realize the real vows are made in the quiet, in the unseen moments, in the stillness after a fight, when forgiveness chooses to stay, in the way two people hold each other when they're scared of losing everything, but still don't let go. And right now, this is one of those moments. Me and you, soul to soul, no performance, no pretending, just truth, just heart, just a man sitting in the weight of everything he never said, slowly laying it down at your feet, because you deserve more than poetry. You deserve devotion, not the kind that fades when the lights are off, but the kind that becomes more sacred as the years pass. And so, here I am, unraveling the next vow I promised you long ago, even if I never found the words until now. Baby, I vow to never stop learning you. That's the third sacred promise my soul makes to yours. I won't ever believe I've figured you out. I won't assume that just because I know your favorite color or how you take your coffee, that I've reached the depth of you. No, I know better now. I know you are a universe, a shifting, sacred cosmos of emotion and evolution, and I vow to study your soul like scripture. I vow to remain a student of your spirit for the rest of my life, even after I marry you, especially after I marry you. I won't let familiarity breed distance. I'll ask you how your heart is, not just when something feels off, but even on quiet afternoons, when you're humming to yourself, barefoot in the kitchen. I'll ask, how are you really? And mean it. I'll listen with the same intensity I did when we first fell in love, because I'll never stop being curious about you. Never stop chasing the beauty in who you're becoming. There is a softness in you that changes with the seasons, a fire that evolves with your pain, a strength that hides behind your silence. And I vow to stay present for every version of you. I won't trap you in the image of who you were when I first loved you. I won't shame you for growing, for shedding skins, for stepping into your power. I'll celebrate it. I'll stand in awe of it. I'll match it with my own becoming. Because that's what real love is. Not possession, not expectation, but presence in every phase, every rebirth, every silent shift you go through without telling a soul. I'll see it, I'll feel it, and I'll love it, not because I have to, but because loving your evolution is the privilege of being chosen by you. And baby, I know now. I know what an honor it is to be chosen by you. And here's the truth I was once too immature to admit. I used to think people stayed the same, that once I had you, I could stop paying attention. I didn't realize how unfair that was, how cruel it is to stop discovering someone just because you think they're already yours. I didn't know that love needs fresh eyes every day, that it needs space to expand, room to breathe, curiosity to stay alive. And now that I've lost you once, now that I've sat in the silence of not hearing your voice for far too long, I've learned. I've learned that love dies when we stop learning each other, and I refuse to let that happen again. I vow to keep asking the questions, to keep learning what songs move you now, what dreams scare you, what hopes you've tucked away in journals no one has read. I'll keep learning how to love you better, not just the way you used to need, but the way you need today. tomorrow, 10 years from now, because the woman I marry won't be frozen in time. She'll grow, she'll change, she'll grieve and celebrate and evolve. And I'll meet her there every time, with arms wide open, with patience, with humility, because I'll know that loving you is a journey I never want to finish. You are not a destination, baby. You are a path I want to walk until my last breath, and every step will be different. Some days we'll run, some days we'll crawl, but I'll stay. I'll stay learning, adjusting, praying, growing with you. Because I want to be fluent in your heart. I want to understand your silences, your sighs, your second glances. I want to read your spirit without needing words. And that kind of knowing, it only comes with devotion, the kind I'm willing to give, the kind you always deserved, but didn't always receive. I vow to give it now. I vow to never stop asking, who are you becoming? And then falling in love with the answer all over again. And maybe that's the beauty of this kind of love, the kind we never truly finish, the kind we keep uncovering through grace, through time, through every mistake that taught us how to stay. There are 4 more vows, baby. 4 more sacred flames flickering in my chest, waiting for their moment to be spoken. I'm not rushing them, because each one is a doorway into a new layer of this truth. And I want you to feel each one like a heartbeat against your back in the middle of the night. I want them to be so real, so lived in, that you never have to ask me where we stand. You'll just know. You'll feel it in the way I breathe when you enter the room, in the way I remember what you said 2 weeks ago, not because it was dramatic, but because it mattered to you. And what matters to you will always matter to me, even when it's small, especially when it's small, because that's where love lives, in the tiny, sacred, invisible details, the ones that say, I see you, I still see you, and I always will. There's something I never told you, baby, something I kept locked behind the parts of me that always tried to be strong. I used to think that loving someone meant just showing up on the good days, smiling, laughing, being affectionate when everything was calm. But I was wrong. Real love isn't tested in the light, it's tested in the dark. And you were the one who stayed, even when I was emotionally nowhere to be found. You were patient with my distance. You waited for warmth in the cold. And I should have said this back then, but I'll say it now. Thank you. Thank you for staying during the parts of me that weren't ready to be seen. Thank you for believing that underneath the silence, there was still a man who loved you. And you were right. I did. I do. And because of that, this next vow lives like thunder in my chest, begging to be spoken. Baby, I vow to never punish you for the wounds someone else gave me. That's my 4th vow. A sacred promise not just to love you, but to love you clean. To love you without the shadows of my past spilling onto your light. I vow to stop blaming you for the things you never did. To stop expecting you to heal the parts of me I refuse to fade. I vow to own my healing. To be responsible for my pain. To protect you from the damage that was done to me before I even met you. Because you are not my enemy. You are not my therapist. You are not my battlefield. You are my peace, my partner, my sanctuary, and I will no longer drag you into the storms I never made peace with. I know now that love isn't just about saying, I'm here. It's about asking, am I bringing peace into your life, or am I pouring my pain into your hands? I used to confuse closeness with chaos. I thought arguments meant passion. I thought silence meant strength. But baby, your love taught me that real strength is softness. Real intimacy is safety, and I vow to give you that now. Not just when things are calm, but especially when I feel overwhelmed. I'll choose communication over withdrawal. I'll choose vulnerability over shutting down, because you deserve a man who doesn't make you walk on eggshells when he's hurting. You deserve peace, even when I'm learning how to find mine. You carried weight you shouldn't have had to carry. You tried to love me through seasons where I was emotionally unavailable, and I never thanked you for that. Not properly. But I'm thanking you now, with my growth, with my change, with this vow to protect our love from the past that never belonged to us. Baby, I know what it feels like to be collateral damage in someone else's healing, and I promise I will never let you feel that way again. I will not let the ghosts of what hurt me become the monsters in our future. I will not let what I couldn't process then become what you bleed from now. Even after I marry you, even after we build a life together, I vow to keep doing the work, to keep healing, to keep cleansing my heart so that the love I pour into you is sacred, whole, and free from the debris of yesterday. And if there are moments where I falter, where old habits creep in, where fear tightens my chest, I vow to tell you. I vow to be honest when I'm struggling. I vow to reach for your hand, not pull away. Because love isn't about being perfect. It's about being honest in the places we're still learning. And you make me want to learn, baby. You make me want to rise. You make me want to be the kind of man who never lets his past speak louder than his present. I may not have known how to love fully back then, but I do now, and I will keep learning what love looks like for you every day, every breath, every lifetime. This vow, maybe more than any other, is the one that brings tears to my eyes, because I know how much of yourself you gave to a man who was still fighting ghosts, and instead of running, you stood still. You offered your arms like a shelter. You offered your heart like an altar. And I stood there, afraid to kneel, afraid to surrender, but I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not hiding behind my pain anymore. I'm not letting fear write this story. I'm taking the pen back, and with every vow, I'm rewriting the way I show up, the way I protect, the way I love. There are 3 vows still burning inside me, 3 sacred promises I've never spoken, not even to myself, but they're coming, baby, one by one, and by the time the last one leaves my lips, you'll know something I never said properly. You'll know what it truly means for a man to choose you, not for a moment, not for a phase, but forever, in spirit, in presence, in healing, in growth, in every word that comes after I do. Because baby, I already do, in every way that matters. It's taken me a long time to understand what commitment really means. Not the kind we post about, not the kind that looks good in pictures, but the kind that stays, the kind that grows roots even when the soil is dry. And I used to think I understood it. I used to think that saying I love you and showing up sometimes was enough. But then I lost you. Or maybe more truthfully, I let you feel alone in love. And that's what broke us. Not the big moments, but the tiny ones I let slip through. The ones where I could have held your hand but chose my ego instead. The ones where I could have asked how you were feeling but turned to distraction instead. And that's why this next vow means everything. Because it's the one I failed at the most. But I won't fail again, baby. My fifth vow is consistency. Not in words, not in intentions, but in presence, in energy, in follow-through. I vow that after I marry you, when the days feel normal, when life feels heavy, when stress makes everything feel dull, I'll still choose you like it's day one. I won't let time turn your love into a routine. I won't let familiarity make me careless. I'll still open doors. I'll still send you messages in the middle of the day that say, "You're on my mind." I'll still ask about your dreams, your fears, your feelings. I won't become the man who stops trying just because the paper was signed. I vow to be the man who still fights to be your favorite place, even when we share the same bed, the same table, the same last name. You were never meant to feel like an afterthought, but I know there were days when you did, days when I made you question if you were still wanted, days when I got lost in my own world and forgot that your world was waiting for me to come home, not just physically, but emotionally. And baby, I see that now. I carry it in my chest like a bruise I don't want to heal too fast. Because it reminds me of what I lost when I took your heart for granted. I don't want to forget that pain. I want to carry it as fuel, as a sacred lesson, as a reminder that love isn't something we receive once and assume will stay. It's something we water daily, gently, faithfully. And I vow to do that for you for the rest of my life. You're not just someone I want to come home to. You are home. Your energy, your warmth, your softness. You were the calm in my storm, the steady breath in my chaos. And still, I made you doubt it. I made you feel like you had to earn love that should have been freely given. But I've grown now. I've bled for that mistake. I've wept over it in silence. And this vow, it's not a romantic idea. It's a sacred commitment, a responsibility I will not abandon. I will love you in patterns that make you feel safe, in actions that don't change just because seasons do, in gestures that tell your soul every single day, you are still chosen, you are still worthy, you are still mine. I know we live in a world where attention spans are short and people give up quickly. But baby, I'm not them. I'm not here for temporary highs. I'm not here for love that fades after the spark. I'm here for the long haul, for the love that matures, that deepens, that gets richer when life gets hard. And even if the world forgets how sacred it is to stay, I won't. I vow to stay through everything, through the arguments, the sickness, the disappointments, the miscommunications. I vow that even on days when we don't like each other very much, I'll still choose to love you, not out of obligation, but out of reverence. Because you're not just my partner, you're my soul's assignment. And I don't walk away from that. Not now. Not ever. Even after I marry you, I'll still date you. I'll still pursue you. I'll still study your laugh, and learn your new habits and trace the curve of your voice like it's a song I never want to forget. I won't stop noticing you. I won't stop being moved by your presence. You'll never have to ask yourself, does he still see me? Because I will show you. In the way I look at you across the room. In the way I reach for your hand without thinking. In the way I still write your name with hope in my chest. This vow, this consistency, it's how I'll honor you when no one else is watching, and when time tries to dull the edges of our story. When we get older and routines take the place of romance, I vow to remember what we built. I vow to remember the fire that started it all. I vow to remind you and myself that we didn't come this far to become strangers. We came this far to become even more known, and that knowing, that remembering, that showing up will be my daily offering to you, to us, to the love that saved me. There are 2 vows left, my love, 2 sacred commitments that have lived at the bottom of my soul, waiting for the right moment to rise, and they're coming, not all at once, but slowly, like the way I now realize love should move, not in a rush, but in reverence. You don't rush what's holy. You hold it, you honor it, you let it unfold, and I promise you, these final 2 vows will be spoken with the kind of truth that shakes the silence open and lets the light pour in. Baby, I've been thinking a lot about forever lately, about what it really means to build a life with someone, not the fantasy kind, not the picture-perfect kind, but the kind where love has weathered storms. The kind where 2 people look at each other across the messiness of life and still say, I'm not going anywhere. I've come to realize that forever isn't made in grand moments. It's made in the in-between, in the silence, in the choosing. And it's in that silence that my 6th vow to you has been growing, waiting patiently to be spoken, not shouted, not dramatized, but offered gently, like a whisper against your soul. I vow to walk beside you, not in front of you, not behind you, but beside you, as your equal, as your mirror, as your sacred companion through every phase of this life. I vow to never use your love as a pedestal to feel bigger. But I will not compete with you. I will not lead out of ego or follow out of fear. I will walk with you through valleys, through mountaintops, through days when everything makes sense and nights when nothing does. Even after I marry you, even after the world sees us as a unit, I will still see you as your own person. I won't erase your voice to amplify mine. I won't ignore your truth just to protect my pride. I vow to co-create a life where we both shine, where we both rise, where we both matter equally. There was a time I didn't know how to do that. A time I thought love meant fixing, leading, controlling. I confused strength with silence. I mistook love for protection that suffocated instead of support that lifted. But you, baby, you taught me different. You showed me what it means to be seen without being overshadowed, to be held without being held back. And because of you, I've unlearned so many toxic patterns. Because of you, I've discovered that partnership isn't about one person being right all the time. It's about being real, together. So this is my vow. I will never make you feel small to make myself feel safe. I will never shrink your light to keep mine from feeling dim. I vow to be proud of your growth. I vow to clap for your wins, not compete with them. I will champion you, not just privately, but publicly. Even if your success outshines mine, I will never see you as a threat. I will see you as my miracle. Because if one of us rises, we both rise. That's the truth of divine union. And that's the love I promise to build with you. And on the days you feel weak, I vow not to take over, but to offer you my strength without making you feel like you failed. I won't rescue you like a savior. I'll stand beside you like a witness. I'll remind you of who you are when you forget. I'll believe for you when your belief runs dry. And when it's me who needs that reminder, I'll trust you to hold me too. Because I vow not only to be your partner in love, but in healing, in grieving, in growing. I won't pretend to have all the answers, but I will always offer you honesty, humility, and the willingness to keep learning. Together, always together. Even after I marry you, I vow to never stop building with you, and not just things people can see, not just homes or plans or projects. I vow to keep building safety, softness, sacred space. I will invest in your joy the same way I invest in our responsibilities. I will ask what you need, not assume. I will make room for your voice at the table of every decision. I will not lead you blindly or follow you passively. I will walk with you as your sacred witness, your equal, your beloved, the man who honors your strength and your softness as one. Sometimes I replay the times I made you feel unseen, the times I steamrolled your emotions because I thought I had to be the man, and I ache over that now. I ache for the ways I didn't create enough space for you to bloom. I ache for the moments I loved you with performance instead of presence. But that ache has turned into fuel, into fire, into the kind of awareness that no longer lets me rest in old patterns. I vow to stay awake now, to stay aware, to stay in sync with the frequency of your heart, because I don't want to love you how the world taught me. I want to love you how heaven shaped me too. And this vow, this sacred sixth vow, is the promise to never see you as an extension of me. You are your own storm, your own stillness, your own masterpiece. And loving you means letting you be both. It means standing beside you as you rise and not trying to hold you still just because I'm afraid. Baby, I vow to let you grow without making your evolution feel like abandonment. I vow to walk with you even when your pace shifts, even when your dreams stretch into places I don't fully understand. Because the truth is, I trust you. I trust your heart. I trust your calling. And I want to walk beside it, not in fear, but in faith. There's one vow left now, just one, the final piece, the most tender promise of them all. And I've saved it for last, not because it's least, but because it's the deepest. The one that holds everything together when all else falls apart. And when I speak it next, you'll know. You'll feel it in your chest like the home we never stopped circling back to. Like the final door opening after a long storm. Like love that was never lost, just waiting to be spoken. Baby, I've thought about this last vow more times than I can count. I've whispered it to myself in the dark. I've held it on the edge of my tongue during moments when I could have said something that would have changed everything, but fear stole the words. I've written it in my mind 100 different ways, but none of them ever felt enough. Because how do you vow something so sacred, so final, so holy, that even time should bow its head when it hears it spoken? But I think now, I finally understand. This last vow, it isn't a promise of perfection. It's a surrender, a reverent, soul-deep surrender to the kind of love that doesn't wear masks, to the kind of love that exists when everything else is stripped away. And so here it is, my 7th and final vow. I vow to love you even when it's not easy, even when the storms come, even when we're angry, even when we're different people than we were yesterday. I vow to love you when the butterflies are gone and all that's left is choice, real, deliberate, sometimes trembling choice. I vow to love you when your hands shake from exhaustion, when your voice trembles from fear, when you forget who you are and need me to remind you. I vow to stay when your walls come up. I vow to be gentle when your heart is rough. I vow to choose you again and again, not because it's always romantic, not because it's always easy, but because you are still the one my soul knelt for in silence when no one was watching. And I vow to never let that sacred knowing fade, no matter how loud the world gets, even after I marry you, especially after I marry you. I vow to love you in the absence of praise, in the mess of ordinary life, when the dishes pile and our patience runs thin and nothing feels magical. I'll still reach for you, still choose you, still whisper your name with reverence, because this love, this isn't about highlight reels or perfect pictures. This love is about sitting in the same room in silence and still feeling safe. This love is about holding hands even when we're upset, about fighting for the same side even when it feels like we're fighting each other. This love is about softness when it's hard to be soft, about forgiveness that isn't earned but offered anyway. It's about choosing the bond over the blame, the healing over the ego. And baby, I vow to build that kind of love with you until my last breath. One soft word at a time, one act of grace after another. I've learned something sacred about forever. It's not built on passion alone. It's built on presence. On two people showing up again and again, with hearts wide open, even after being hurt, even after the fire has dimmed. And that's what I promise you. I promise to still show up when everything in me wants to run. I promise to soften when I want to shut down. I promise to ask, how can I make this easier for you? Instead of, what about me? I promise to stay even when I'm tired, even when I don't have the right words, even when all I can do is hold your hand in the silence. Because love isn't just a feeling, it's a decision, and I vow to keep making it. Every morning, every argument, every new version of us we step into together. I vow to love you when we're wrinkled, when we're quiet, when we're grieving, when we're building again from broken pieces. I vow to love you in ways no one ever taught me, because you made me believe that I could, and when you doubt, because we all do. I vow to hold the belief for both of us. When you forget how beautiful your heart is, I'll remind you. When you get quiet and closed off, I'll wait. I won't push. I won't leave. I'll wait until your heart feels safe again. Because love doesn't force, it invites. And I vow to be the safest invitation your soul has ever received. Even when the world is heavy, even when your body is tired, even when time tries to steal our softness, I'll be there, baby. Not just as your husband, but as your friend, as your anchor, as your place to land when you no longer have the energy to explain. I vow to never make your exhaustion feel like a burden. I'll cradle your tired heart like a sacred flame, and I'll never let it go out. You deserve a forever that doesn't quit when it gets hard. That's what this final vow is. The promise to stay when staying is hard. The promise to love even when I don't feel lovable. To lean in even when I'm scared. To not punish you with distance when I'm hurting. To not weaponize silence. To not love you with conditions, but to love you in the wildness of life. Through grief, through joy, through long days and longer nights, through versions of ourselves we haven't even met yet. I vow to love you there, in the unknown, in the unraveling, in the becoming, because our love was never meant to be small. It was meant to stretch across lifetimes. And I finally have the courage to hold it properly, to carry it with reverence, with humility, with honor. So if you ever ask again, when we're older, when we're tired, when the world feels too loud, do you still love me? I won't just say yes. I'll say I vowed to, and I still do. Because love like this doesn't fade, it deepens. And I'm ready now, baby. I'm ready to go all in. No more halfway, no more retreat, no more silence when I should be soft. You're not just the woman I want to marry. You're the woman I want to keep choosing over and over and over in this life and every one after. You know what's been haunting me the most, baby? It's not just the silence that came after we drifted. It's not just the absence of your voice or the empty space beside me when I lie awake at night. It's the fact that I was silent during the moments that needed my voice the most. There were so many times I could have stepped forward, so many moments where my love should have been louder than my fear, stronger than my pride. But I didn't speak, I didn't act. I watched us slip through the cracks like a story I wasn't brave enough to write with both hands. And now, the weight of those unsaid things follows me everywhere. They echo in rooms you've never been in. They replay in conversations I still imagine in my head. And I need to say them now, not because I expect you to respond, but because my soul can't carry them in silence anymore. Do you know what it's like to walk around pretending you've moved on, while everything inside you is still bleeding from what you never said? I do. I know it intimately. I've smiled at strangers and nodded in meetings and laughed in rooms, all while the memory of your laugh tugged at my chest like a ghost refusing to fade. I've walked past women who looked nothing like you but reminded me of how you used to tilt your head when you were trying not to cry. I faked calm, I faked strength, but the truth is, baby, I've been a storm wrapped in skin, and every thunderclap inside me has one name written on it, yours. Sometimes I wonder what you felt the day it all began to unravel. Did your heart know before your mind did? Did something in you go quiet when I stopped showing up the same way? I think about that a lot, about how pain doesn't start loud. It begins in whispers, begins in the small ways we stop paying attention, in the way I used to notice when your energy changed and then I didn't ask anymore, in the way you used to send those quiet texts that said, I'm okay, but your soul was screaming, and I didn't hear it. Or worse, I heard it and didn't respond. And now, those moments play like a loop I can't turn off. Because I see it now. I see how I made you feel like loving me was a responsibility. Like showing up for me was your job, and that's what I'll never forgive myself for. Because the truth is, you were never supposed to feel like you had to earn my love. You were supposed to rest in it, to bloom in it, to breathe in it like oxygen. You were supposed to feel safe in my presence, not anxious. You were supposed to open your mouth and know that I'd listen, not rush to defend myself, not try to fix you. Just listen. And I didn't do that, not the way I should have. And now, every day since, I've been rewriting the man I used to be, not to get you back, but to become the kind of man you never should have had to wait for. I want you to know something. This whole journey I've been walking since we parted, it's been filled with mirrors, with divine reminders, with lessons I couldn't escape even if I tried. God didn't let me forget you, not because he wanted to punish me, but because he wanted to redeem me. Every time I tried to run, I was pulled back to the moments I failed you. Every time I tried to replace the ache, it only grew louder. And that's how I knew your love wasn't just a chapter in my story. It was the book. And the only reason I'm turning the pages now is because I finally started reading it properly. I've imagined what I'd say to you if I ever saw you again. Not in some dramatic, run us across the rain kind of way, but in the quiet, in a room where the noise of our past falls away and only the truth remains. I think I'd start by saying, I'm sorry for all the times I asked you to understand me, but never took time to understand you. I'd say, I see it now, the patience, the grace, the strength it took to love me when I didn't know how to love myself. I'd say, thank you for seeing the good in me before I had the courage to become it. And then, I'd sit in silence and let you speak, really speak. Not just the pretty parts, but the grief, the anger, the disappointment. I'd let you unload it all without trying to fix it. Because maybe that's the kind of healing we both needed all along. Truth without interruption. And even if you didn't say a word, I'd still be grateful. Because your silence taught me more than most people's sermons. It taught me that absence speaks, that love unexpressed is still felt, that letting someone go doesn't always mean you've stopped loving them. It sometimes means you're just choosing to love yourself first. And baby, I honor that. I honor the fact that you had the courage to walk away when staying would have meant abandoning yourself. I honor the tears you cried in silence. I honor the boundaries you set, even when it hurt. And if no one's told you this before, let me be the first. You didn't fail. You didn't give up. You just loved with your whole soul, and it wasn't met with the depth it deserved. But I see it now. All of it. Patient. And I'm changed because of it. There are days I still catch myself reaching for the phone. Days when a song plays and I close my eyes, pretending I'm back in the car with you. Your fingers tracing patterns on the window as you hum along. Days when I write out full messages and then erase them. Even though to you, every damned thing is a message. Not because I don't want to send them, but because I know some love deserves to be honored in silence. And yet, here I am, breaking that silence in the only way I know how, with these words, with this offering, with the kind of truth that doesn't ask for anything in return except to be received. Because if your soul ever stumbles across this message, if some part of your spirit hears these words late at night and feels a warmth it can't explain, I want you to know it's real. It's me, still loving you from afar, still praying for your peace, still holding the memory of your laughter like sunlight in my hands, still wishing I could go back, not to change everything, but just to hold you one more time, to say what I never said, to look you in the eyes and let you feel what my silence never told you, that you were always the one, you still are. So if you're still here, listening, breathing with me through every word, every vow, every wound that slowly turned into wisdom, I want to thank you, not just for watching, not just for staying, but for feeling, for letting this message reach the places in you that don't usually have words, because I didn't just write this for the one I lost. I wrote it for the ones who still believe in sacred love, the kind that doesn't just visit you, it transforms you, the kind that doesn't just speak, it surrenders. And if something in you stirred tonight, if you felt the presence of a love you thought was long gone, then maybe, just maybe, your soul remembers too. If this touched you, even in the smallest way, I invite you to comment below. Let this space be more than a video. Let it be a sacred circle, a soft place for those of us who still carry love like a prayer. Type 1111 if you felt seen, if you felt held, if you felt that somewhere out there your soul is still being remembered. And if you believe that love like this still exists, that there are divine masculines out there still learning how to love without fear, still rising after every fall, then please subscribe to this channel. Not for me, but for you, so you never miss another message that speaks not just to your ears, but to your heart. Turn on the bell, not just so you get notified, but so you remember that you're not alone, that somewhere in this vast, sacred, aching world, someone else is healing with you, crying with you, rising with you. And if this message finds the one it was meant for, if it reaches the soul I once called home, then I hope they know.
You were never forgotten, never unloved, never invisible. You were the vow I should have made sooner, the truth I should have shouted louder. And maybe now, you're the peace I can finally whisper with no more fear, no more running, just reverence. Until next time, stay soft, stay sacred, and keep listening for the love that never stops speaking your name. I'm here, still healing, still hoping, still yours. Now, if you felt this was written for you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone whose heart needs to remember how sacred they are. Celebrate I received this if you're ready to let this kind of love live again. Celebrate for more divine masculine confessions every week. Let this be your sanctuary. I'll be here when you're ready for the next vow, the next confession, the next homecoming. Because love like this never truly ends. It just waits to be spoken again, forever in truth, forever in presence, forever in love.